Please, help me." I could barely make out her voice through the phone, and just like that, memories rushed back from many years ago. Back then, I lived in a tiny northern town and was in the army. Well, served is a loose term. My father had a solid reputation, so I just checked into the unit. That meant I had a ton of free time on my hands. One day, when I was finally discharged, I ran into an old friend. He had this stunning brunette with him. We got to talking, met up that evening, and well, things escalated pretty quickly. The girls didn't exactly shower me with attention. I didn't look like much. I was short, a little on the chubby side, red-haired, and full of insecurities. So yeah, I fell for her almost immediately. And that's when I found out why she stuck around. A little while later, we moved in together. My parents gave us an apartment. I joined the police force, and she kept studying. But there was always one thing nagging at me. Why on earth would someone so amazing choose me? The answer came sooner than I expected. One day, I got a break and decided to swing by home for dinner. I walk in, but she's not there. Her phone's off, no sign of her family, and her friends didn't know where she was either. It was late, and I'll admit, I felt a little uneasy. I've seen enough strange things in my police work to get a bad feeling about this. Anyway, I head back to work, and at 5 a.m., we're on patrol with my partner. The streets are empty, and then I spot a taxi. I squint. Wait a second. That profile looks familiar. We pull the car over, fling open the door, and there she is, with my cousin, arms wrapped around each other in the back seat. I yanked her out by the neck, and she starts screaming, then crying like a drunk. My partner witnessed the whole thing. I took her home, ready for a confrontation. That's when everything came to light. It turned out she was just playing a game. She'd gotten with me to get closer to my family's connections, thinking she could upgrade to someone better down the line. My family never really gave me the time of day since I joined the police. I mean, the salary barely covered living costs. But my cousin, well, he was still in with the family. And that's when things clicked. She'd been seeing him behind my back. They were meeting up regularly, he confessed. I can't even describe how I felt, but I can tell you how she felt when I got home. She was devastated. Time passed, and we somehow patched things up. Things went back to normal, or so it seemed. But in the back of my mind, I couldn't stop thinking about how I didn't fit into her vision. So I started obsessing over how to climb the financial ladder faster, and what better way to do that than hit the casino. I couldn't help but picture myself walking through the door, throwing a wad of cash at her face, and watching her forget about everything. The betrayal, the lies, the so-called criminal romance. Yeah, it was all just a fantasy. The reality? I was spiraling, losing every penny I earned. I dug myself into a hole of debt so deep, I'm honestly surprised I'm still here to talk about it. She couldn't stand my destructive obsession. And let's be real, I wasn't exactly someone she needed in her life. So I packed up my stuff and headed off to chase some kind of better, warmer future. And just like that, I was alone with nothing but the debt I'd racked up, sitting in an empty apartment. Time passed. I moved up in my career, met a decent woman, and life seemed pretty comfortable. Everything was going smoothly until one call shattered that peace. "Hi, I had a hard time finding your number. I have problems. Please help me. I really need money." It turns out that she has finally found a happy life with a much older man, the owner of a cafe chain on the South Coast. I saw her on social media. She looked amazing, lived a good life. At first, everything seemed perfect, but knowing my ex, I could guess what probably happened. She was bored with this kind of life. After all, she betrayed her husband with a young boyfriend. And as you know, secrets always come out sooner or later. Her husband realized what was going on, and it turned into a full-scale criminal scandal. They took matters into their own hands. I did what I had to do, paid for it, and they caught up with her on the mountain road. They cut her off and her car went off a cliff. By some miracle, she survived. But now she's confined to a wheelchair, living a miserable, unwanted, and sickly existence. And now she's asking me, of all people, a simple cop, for help. Honestly, I felt sorry for her. So I did the only thing I could think of. I gave her my cousin's number and hung up.